has become the thing whereby you look out for yourself. You say, when you're going into a relationship, look out for yourself. Let me break this to you. When you look out for yourself, the relationship will fail. It will. Why? Because the other person also will look out for himself. Hello everyone, you're welcome again to my channel, and it's a privilege to be able to have you guys watch. For those who are joining me for the first time, I would say welcome, and I would also say that you can do well to subscribe. You can click on the subscribe button and also turn on notification. That's double clicking on that bell so that you will not miss out from important videos that will be coming from this channel. And for those who are already here, my people, because you guys are my people, but there's something I have against you. You guys don't comment, you just watch and like. You just, I understand that I am putting some things that, okay, maybe it's not for discussion. I'm just like saying my mind and going straight to the point. Well, that's, I can understand, but I mean, you could also affirm what I'm saying if you agree, and if you disagree, or if so, feel free. Yes, I mean, it doesn't mean that you change my mind except it's a convincing reason. Same thing, I am here to change your mind in case you don't. So let's communicate. Don't just watch and fulfill all righteousness. Yeah. Whatever the case, I am very happy and privileged and grateful for you guys joining this channel and subscribing. And if you're watching for the first time, please subscribe. Okay, moving on to that which we have for today. It's about relationships. I think the issue of relationships and people talking about it seems as if it has become saturated, as in become so saturated that what more could you learn? I mean, everywhere. And despite the increased number of counselors, despite the increased number of channels, resources addressing relationships, marriages, and all that, it seems like it's not having any effect, or probably it's because bad things are the ones that are popularized the most. I think I will agree with that also, but it seems like things are not working. Like, what is happening? I mean, relationships always going down the drain. You can almost say, many times you see relationships starting and you can always give them a deadline that this relationship will end within 1 month, within 2 years, within 1 year, and all that. And if you see it even lasting for 10 years or 5 years, and I want to assume that you understand, I don't mean relationships lasting for 5 years. I don't belong to that school of thought, and you'll get to know why along the line. But you see marriages, you say 5 years it will go, and when you look at it, they've lasted for 15 years, but they have not been without scandals, the kind of things that if they actually knew about the issues earlier, it should have ended since. So what really is the problem? And this thing is something that applies to not just believers and unbelievers. In fact, every human being. Everyone wants to be loved, everyone wants to have a companion, everyone has that feeling, except you have the gift of celibacy where you don't have such kind of feeling towards the opposite sex or towards anyone. But the point is, it is something that is common to us. It is a reality. The issue of love relationships is a reality that affects both the believing and the unbelieving. And it is their understanding, it's our understanding, it is individuals' understanding that influences the way they approach relationships. It is from your mindset, it's from what you know that you approach what you value so much, and in this case, love relationships. I wrote a book about 2 years ago, and I did some extensive research summarizing the key reasons why relationships fail. It was really extensive, and you would know at the end of this video that I'm right. When you go through all the relationships you know have failed, you know that they are all linked to at least one or a combination of these reasons. 5 reasons relationships fail, and the first, which is I can almost say it's like the Oga of them all, it is what? Lack of communication. I would add lack of effective communication, because we have communication, verbal and non-verbal. Not saying anything is communication, saying something is also communication. So I would say lack of effective communication. People, friends, my people, communication is, I can say, every relationship stands or falls on the way the health of the communication of such relationship is. And guess what? It's not just love relationships. Even relationship between father, mother, siblings, boss and employee and all that. If there is no effective communication, you're going nowhere as far as that relationship is concerned. How much more love relationships? I wonder, it shocks me when people feel that they can give some kind of indifferent attitude towards communication, whereby, well, if I don't speak or if I don't do this or I mean, they take it with levity, but that is too important. You must communicate effectively. And what does that mean? It means you must be able to speak about everything. You must be able to speak about difficult things. You don't avoid, you don't pile up stuff. You don't try I'll just hold it and let's see how it goes, or let me just, I'm taking it in, I'm taking it. No, you're not taking it, you're piling it up, and by the time you explode in ways that you wish you didn't. Effective communication implies communicating on every issue that is important. Even to the minutest, you must communicate. If it's a difficult thing that could cause some bad blood or whatever, you have to communicate clearly, communicate with love, communicate exhaustively. Go through it, because you see that many times when you have communicated and you guys are now back on the same page, or there's now compromise and you feel much better than harboring things in your mind. Effective communication. Number 2, differences in values and life goals. Differences in values and life goals. I don't know how people, when you go on a date, as we call dates today, when you say you go out to eat and everything, and you talk about everything but the very important things that define who you are and your mindset about life. Your worldview about life is very important. You are a Christian, and you shouldn't even negotiate getting married to someone who is not a Christian. I'm sorry, it might seem as if I'm harsh. Am I saying they are not human beings? Absolutely not. But marriage or a relationship is another thing entirely. You must be of one mind. It is thoroughly important. Now, I'm saying these things, and it might seem, I'm being extra. But the other alternative is to ignore these things and continue on the path of the things that cause relationships to fail. Number 2, as I've said, differences in values. What is your mindset about life? What wakes you up in the morning? What drives you? What is your motivation each day? If you don't have someone who is also on the same page with you, I'm not saying doing the exact same things, but I'm saying your mindset, your outlook, your worldview of life, if they are not the same, sooner or later, the effects of such will be seen in a relationship. So it's not about, she looks so beautiful, he's so handsome, he's so nice. I mean, he took care of me when I was sick, he did this. Those things have little or nothing to do with values, life goals. Those things, you must be on the same page. Many times you see people that from afar, you see that as individuals, they seem to be cool. But when they come together, it's explosion. Why? They have differences in values and life goals. Number 3, betrayal. Betrayal comes in various forms, particularly in form of infidelity, lies, fraud. Now, this is someone who you say you love, you trust, you have given your trust, and you see that when someone turns their back on you, someone who you believe is your person, that is a fundamental heartbreak. And it's enough to ruin relationships, and that is what happens. Betrayal, infidelity, lies, fraud is a big deal. Betrayal is a big deal. And you see that now, because of the effect of betrayal in breaking relationships, people now begin to not trust when they get into new relationships, causing more problems. So they carry the baggage of broken hearts, of people who betrayed them and they get into another relationship and they say, I can never give myself 100% into this. Oh, I can never trust this thing. It is once you do this, I just run out. Not just the way people do towards divorce and towards abuse now. Once it just shows anything. So you are now more about yourself. I think that it has become popular, it has become normal, it has become the thing whereby you look out for yourself. You say, when you are going into a relationship, look out for yourself. Let me break this to you. When you look out for yourself, the relationship will fail. It will. Why? Because the other person also will look out for himself. Except it's someone who is ready, who understands the place of suffering in a relationship. And the person, while you are looking out for yourself, the person is looking out for you. So that person is there to just suffer and suffer well. Except you have such kind of person. And if you have such person and you are taking advantage of such person, I'm telling you that things happen. If the person is God's child, God knows how to deal with you if you're doing it on purpose. It's not a threat. But aside that mindset kills relationships. Betrayal kills relationships. Then the product of betrayal that makes people go into relationships without giving their all also kills relationships. Number 4, holding one's significant other to unrealistic standards. Expectations. Unrealistic expectations. My people, this is a big one. Expectations can come in different forms, probably from what you have thought a relationship should be, what you have thought about other people, you have seen in other people, like so my husband or my wife or my boyfriend, girlfriend. By the way, I'm not down with all this boyfriend, girlfriend, but anyway, that's for the sake of this boyfriend, girlfriend, that is the one whom your heart is driven towards, right? If you hold them to unrealistic standards, you will be disappointed. Why? Because they are imperfect. Secondly, some of those standards are very unrealistic, objectively speaking. That is, on their own, without even applying it to your significant other. On their own, they are unrealistic. In fact, you cannot put yourself, it is like bondage. It's like wanting a perfect person. And sometimes even a perfect person, that standard is weird. I need you to call me every second. If you don't call me every second, then you don't love me. What kind of thing is that? Then the person doesn't have a life. Now, I am for speaking every day. Left to me, yes. I am for constant communication. But when you say you need to be speaking to me every second, that's unrealistic. I mean, forget whatever context I'm trying to say, but think of it. I have to speak to you every second. What am I going to do about the things that will help me even love you the more? Trying to learn the things that will help me love you the more. That means I will not be involved in talking to you at that moment. If it has to do with making ends meet to survive and to be able to take care of you, then I won't have that time every second. I mean literally every second. Now, I'm using that example because there are many other examples. You need to also individually look at it and say, what are these standards? You are safer when you go into a relationship looking for what you are going to do. You are preoccupied with what you are giving rather than what you are getting. But once you hold them to unrealistic standards that are unrealistic, I don't need to, the name or the adjective is enough. Unrealistic standards. Am I saying that there are no standards? No, I'm not saying that. The key word here is unrealistic expectations. And one of the ways to deal with it is to be preoccupied with what you are given in the relationship. Once you do that, you would not be thinking, this person did not do this or did not do that. If you feel it is something that is basic, which we will talk about along the line in other videos. But for this, that kills relationships. It kills relationships. Sometimes you compare it to other people, and this person has never known how to do this or has never known what it means to be this or be that and everything. And you say, if you must be my leader, you have to do it this way. And the person is now under some kind of pressure. It is very unhealthy, and this is why relationships fail. And number 5, lack of commitment to one another. The kind of commitment that when there is lack of it, it makes these two people begin to grow apart gradually, until when they now begin to develop quote and unquote feelings for other people, or begin to find solace in the arms of other people. Lack of commitment. What do I mean? The truth is, you cannot feel mushy to your significant other 100% every day, every second. You cannot. Because without even giving the various reasons why that can be so, we are imperfect human beings that would get on our nerves, and sometimes they are the last people you want to talk to because of a particular issue at that moment. And if it's, depending on the context, if it's something that is prolonged, which is unhealthy to prolong issues. But if it is something that is prolonged and you still have to communicate with other people, and other people that are interested in you, and other people that are nice naturally, when you are also, they are being nice, being concerned, and you're also showing that, something's happening in your relationship, and they are trying to be the shoulder on which you lay your head, and from there you now begin to feel some soft spot for this person, rather than looking for how to deal with the issue. So at that moment, there's no lovey-dovey towards that person. And the very things that are necessary to fuel the conditions that would help you get back to the lovey-dovey. I hope you understand what I mean lovey-dovey. When I mean lovey-dovey, mushy, the affectionate feeling towards, you understand, the affectionate feeling towards the significant other, sorry, I'm changing my tone just to be able to pass the point. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, that kind of feeling, that kind of, I love everyone, but this love is particular, you understand, about this person. I mean, there's that kind of feeling. It doesn't happen automatically. It doesn't happen. In fact, when the person becomes unlovable, those feelings fly. And if you want, when I mean fly away, not soar or something. They fly away. That is, they don't. So what do? It is only commitment that will inform you that maybe there's an issue and it must be addressed. And it leads us back to the first point: effective communication, giving your all, being involved, being present in your relationship. The lack of it is what is causing relationships to fail today. And so it is no surprise when you combine all these things, you see that really they are not far-fetched. They are not far-fetched. They are not surprising. I give all of us an assignment. Go to all the relationships that you know that have failed. Ask questions. You know that everything is connected to one or some or even all. It's so bad. There are some relationships that are so bad that you wonder why they even started. That every of the points is applicable to the relationship. Lack of effective communication, holding people to unrealistic standards, lack of commitment, betrayal, and differences in values and life goals. So what am I saying? I'm saying that it is not a mystery. It is not surprising. People have become so exhausted with relationships. I wonder why you're even in more than one relationship. Like, you see someone who is already 20 years and they have been in 50 relationships. I'm exaggerating, by the way, but you understand what I'm saying. You keep hurting yourself because you have this at the back of your mind. These are the things that define the way you approach relationships. You will fail. And if you are two of you are on the same page regarding these things, as in these negative things, the relationship will fail. It will. It's not rocket science to know that the relationship will fail. And so, I just want to end by saying this. If you are truly serious about relationships, love relationships that truly work, all these 5 things you must delete from your mind. You must kick, you must detest, you must not be 2 things. You must not be a recipient and a propagator of them. You must not be a culprit. You must not be guilty of these things. Or else, when listen to me, let me say something. When your relationship or the relationship of someone else that you know fails, I promise you that you remember what I'm saying. If you've gotten to this point, you will remember that all these things I've said are the truth. Regardless of the time. 10 years ago, 100 years ago, these are things that have to do with human beings. And it's applicable years, centuries, and even millennia. Ages past. These things are consistent. So if you're serious about relationships, kick these things out of your mind. Kick them out of your mind. I hope I've been able to remove something from your mind and help you to know that there are really things that you should have in your mind if you want to go into relationships. And I'll be speaking about that in subsequent videos. But please, if I have been helpful, if this has been worth your time, I would implore you once again to subscribe. Click on the subscribe button. Click on the notification bell. When you click on the subscribe button, you also click on that same bell and click on all so that you would always be notified when new videos come out. Thank you and have a wonderful time and a wonderful day.